Welcome, baseball fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for this week's MLB report with Paul Tipton and Will Retherford, our first one after the season has begun. And so far, the season has had no progress. Every team in the league is somewhere between 6-10 and 10-6, except for the Dodgers, who are 11-4. So we might as well just start the whole thing over, right?
If parity is what you're looking for, this is something else. Yes, and the Astros have lost 8 straight games and are still only 3 games out of first place. So, nope, that's in the American League. Nobody's further out than 3 games. So,
I mean, Greg, I feel like this is kind of how it normally goes, unless there's a team that's just so atrocious that they come out and drop their first 10, 11 games.
We usually have one or two of those.
And it's going to happen. It's, the Rockies are 6-10. We'll be here at the end of the May, and they'll have 15 wins maybe. And that, by the time we get to that time period, the parity is great in the early going, but let's be honest, not every team is going to magically get to, where every team's a 70-win team. You're going to have teams that lose 100 games easily.
No, of course, but it is a sign of some kind of parity.
Well, it's great for the league because they can show that these small market teams can compete, and then the CBA suddenly doesn't hold as much weight with having a parity-driven salary floor/cap, however they want to do it.
I never thought the Brewers, given their start, would lose 5 straight games all season, and then to lose all their games against the Washington Nationals, pretty shocking.
That Nationals offense, they've turned it around big time. They have a lot of pride in what they've been doing offensively. They have a young lineup that's filled with some good talent. Obviously, James Wood had an absolutely humongous week last week. C.J. Abrams, Luis Garcia Jr. You kind of felt like it was a roster that, their lineup was probably going to be good enough for them to compete. Their pitching staff's just awful. And that's why they won't do anything. But the Brewers have lost 5 straight. They still have a plus 16 run differential. So they're losing games by 1 run, and they're beating the hell out of teams when they do it. My guess is that what goes around comes around, and they can go win 8 straight really quick, and we forgot they lost 5 in a row.
And no word on Yelich yet.
Not that I have heard of.
The Brewers are getting a lot of people in the Midwest there enthused. Cardinal fans don't feel so glum. Look at the Reds, only a half a game behind the vaunted Pittsburgh Pirates now.
Will called it.
I told you that you do not want to play that team. With that pitching staff, they are going to be the toughest 3-game series of a team that will end up with a losing record in the league. They are going to be a nightmare. If they score more than 3 runs, they could win every game. If they score more than 3 runs, that's how good their pitching staff is.
They even tried to lose a game against the Cubs in extra innings by throwing the ball around, and they still shut down the Cubs.
I'm not sure how I feel about the Cubs yet. I feel like 100 through 15 games, 7-8, they're going to be good. I think this division is going to probably be pretty competitive the whole way. I think that the Brewers probably get to 95 wins, and then I think you've got a bunch of teams jockeying to get to 87, 88 and fight for wild card spots. That's kind of what it feels like to me. I just think that
start hitting, Will.
Well, see, Greg, that's what everybody's been saying for the last, 10 years. Well, if the Reds start hitting, God, what a baseball team. They're not going to start hitting because they have too much swing and miss, and they're going to live and die by the long ball, and their pitching staff's going to be good enough to keep them in it. I still think the Reds probably are going to be a wild card team. I just don't see them as a 93-win team. I think they're an 88-win team.
I can't believe we've gone this long into the podcast without Will bringing up his athletics. Just having a time in the apple, huh?
Yes, and the pitching's been much better than everybody expected, too.
I said they thought they'd finish second in the division, and I still think that. I think the Mariners are going to be fine, and they're 8-9. easily the best roster in that division. I don't know. A's lineup is just deadly. If they can, they're a type of lineup. If they can keep a team from not scoring 5 runs, they could win every game. I think their lineup's that good. And honestly, Soderstrom hasn't really been awesome yet. Nobody's been super hot. Lawrence Butler's gotten off to a slow start, but they've just been able to do enough. It's a team I was super high on. I still continue to feel the same way.
Yeah, I think Seattle, it's probably a good sign that they're 8-9 because they played so poorly.
I think so. Their pitching staff's still so good. I mean, they're a lineup that I think that there's some variability. Cal Raleigh's just not been very good, which, shocker, your switch hitting catcher is not going to hit 60 home runs again. Because I still, that will always be a year that I will just look back and say, he can't steal any bags. He's really not a good hitter outside of hitting home runs. Why throw to him? I can't believe that happened. And this year is just reverting back to the mean. He'll hit 30 home runs and he'll bat 220 doing it.
I'm not even sure he's going to hit 30 home runs.
Well, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he probably can. It's 11 run differential.
He puts a charge into that ball when he hits it, man.
He looks bad on a lot of pitches, though.
Yes, he does.
I think there's been too much swing and miss in Raleigh's game. I mean, his entire career. I think that last year there was still a lot of swing and miss. It just, when he makes contact, it's loud contact, which is great. I don't know. I think that if you expected him to even get close to 60 home runs again, you were just fooling yourself.
Agreed. There was one thing I was pretty confident going into this season, and I know we've only played 15 games, so 1/10 of the whole season. But I was sure with this ABS system that batting averages were going to go up because pitchers were going to be psychologically forced to throw better pitches that weren't so far away. But batting averages have actually dropped so far from last year's really low 243 average. So I can't explain it.
And I don't know if strikeouts are up, but it sure seems like it. Sure seems
It's
like every
cold.
night has 13 strikeouts. Or
more cold strike threes than I would have expected too, I think.
I know it sounds silly. I think it's been cold. I think when you start the year this early, it's not fun to hit 40-degree weather. And really a significant portion of the country has experienced, I mean, this is the first 80-degree day that we've had in Indiana, and it's, April 13th. That's kind of late considering all the variables. I just think when the Northeast, Boston, New York, it's been really cold. Let's get to May. I think you'll see that average tick up. But I think part of the problem, too, with this ABS is there has to be some variation. It cannot be if there is a hair length of the ball in the strike zone, that's a strike. I really struggle with that. I struggle with, you got to have some percentage of the ball in the zone for me. Otherwise, hitters are just getting hosed, where it's like, that's a ball. The entire ball is out of the strike zone except one seam that popped out of the leather on the way from the mound to the plate. I saw that. I went to Detroit last Sunday, saw a couple calls that went both ways for the Tigers and the Cardinals, and I just thought I'm sorry, that's not a strike. That's too tedious. There's got to be some variation where you give some benefit of the doubt. It can't just be we have a toenail of the ball in the strike zone and we're going to ring somebody up on that.
There should be a slack zone where the umpire has discretion.
I don't see they're going to change it, though.
They're not. And I know I'm old man yelling at clouds. I think that contributes to the average a little bit, because I think that you're getting some of those buffer balls that umpires were letting on a 3-2 count and catchers are challenging, and you're getting a centimeter or a millimeter of the ball in the zone and you're ringing them up. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be an adjustment. I think that's going to contribute. I think this ABS, honestly, may have hurt the hitters more than the pitchers, if anything.
That you may actually be right, because you take that box and you've actually made it a little bit bigger, any part of that ball
Seems
can
like it.
go. So I guess it'll be a series of adjustments. So
I guess the good thing is everybody knows now. But I agree with Will. They should have had a zone that was a discretion of the umpire, a tiny zone that whatever the umpire called, that's what it was. And
Yeah, I agree.
that could have cured all this. I can't believe how bad the umpiring is after putting this box in a few years ago. We've learned just how bad home plate umpiring's been.
there are some good. The good ones stand out.
Oh,
Just
yes.
It's kind of like baseball. There are elite umpires who just are really, really good. And then you had that CB Buckner game that the Reds played, which was incredible.
How about this? You miss 15 calls and you're just gone.
Whoa.
We don't need you anymore.
Whoa.
There's no reason to miss calls from behind the plate, especially if, like, with Will, the little slack zone. Of course, you could miss by an inch. You could. But there's no reason. I think we've all three umpired, right? You draw a little box in your vision in front of you, and if the ball goes inside it, it's a strike, and if it doesn't, it's a ball, and it's not that hard.
I agree with that at a certain level. I just think with this level of movement that these pitchers have and the velocity at which they're throwing, I think it's hard. I think umpiring sports. Of all of the sports professionally, I think umpiring is home plate umpire is the most difficult assignment of all major sports. I completely
disagree. I think it's so easy anybody could do it, and they let these unions get away with keeping these guys in the game who are no good at it. I've done it. I've done it at a college level where they're throwing 95. It's not that hard.
So what's harder than being a home plate umpire?
Officiating basketball.
It's so subjective. That basketball is so subjective. So is football.
Exactly. That's why it's way harder.
Well, you can also get away with more. Yep. We don't have to debate that right now, but
no. Not much is clear through a couple of weeks. I think one thing is pretty clear is the Dodgers are the best team in the league, right?
Sadly, I've been heartened by our not talking about them, but I guess that's the elephant in the room. Yeah.
I'll keep it as short as possible. I'm not surprised. Nobody should be. No. You got $1 billion roster. You should be the best team.
No doubt about it. Like we said in the preview, if their top four guys go down, they're still going to be one of the best teams in baseball. And that's, I guess that was the way the Yankees were back in the 60s, but it's just not that fun.
Nope, it's really not.
Good. It's good for the league. People love to hate watch. But you've got to set the stage. You can't just. You've got to set the stage where this team wins 120 games and it's David versus Goliath in the NLCS. You don't have your climax of the play right at the beginning. You got to have an hour or 20 of your dad snoring in the seat next to you and waking him up. Dad, it's about ready to get good.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys, give me a player or two that you didn't see coming that is off to a good start.
Ooh, Jordan Walker.
Well, you expected some kind of good start, right? Just
not. He's been hotter than the surface of the sun. Did not expect it. The chase to Louder, I guess, in Cleveland, if I'm going to use my non-bias, I didn't really expect a rookie to come out and be second in the league in home runs. But Jordan Walker's, he's been incredible. I hope that it's real. The breakout is real. He earns it. He's so young at 23, but based on what I've seen the last 2 years, I didn't think he had in him. I thought he was going to be a fourth outfielder for his career.
I'll take Xavier Edwards of the Marlins.
That's a deep pull, Paul.
Well, I just wasn't expecting him to hit 350.
Yeah.
I'll take the Marlins. They look pretty good. They might be a legit contender, guys.
We'll see.
The Mets are going to figure it out. That's too tough a division.
I'll take the Marlins over the Mets. We'll talk about that on our podcast, Will. If you
That'll
want.
be interesting.
We can.
It'll be interesting to see how quickly the Mets can turn it around because they look pretty bad right now.
And they did last year when everybody expected things of them, and they did
In the
every
second
other
half.
year when people expect something.
No, the first half last year they were good. So
So good, baseball's back.
even if you have to mow the lawn, it's worth it.
It is. You turn the game on, you put your headphones on, get the radio broadcast. John Rooney on the call, voice of the Cardinals.
It's much better than anybody named Carey. I agree.
Love listening to John Rooney, Ricky Horton on the call. I listened to him tonight before I got on the podcast. I do like to watch it on TV, but baseball is still a game that I believe if you're really romantic about, you love to listen to the radio call of the game.
Yeah.
I think it's a sport built for radio broadcast.
Amen. Most of the time I'm listening to radio guys as I'm watching the game.
It's a good way to do it as well. I think the booth right now for the Reds is fantastic. They make watching the games enjoyable. Barry Larkin, the rest of them I think are fantastic.
Okay.
Who's your favorite, Paul?
Oh, just of their own quality, the Giants guys cannot be beat.
So good.
Yeah, they really are.
I think John Miller's the best.
Yeah, he's so good. Yes.
Give me Al Michaels, Bob Costas, John Miller.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Those are the three that I want to tune in for.
Costas
you,
first.
Will? I took Michaels first, but Costas is a close second. Both great.
I can't say that I've honestly really remember Costas or Al Michaels as baseball broadcasters at all. I know I'm going to get flack for it, but I think Joe Buck's actually a really good broadcaster. I really enjoy when he's joined the Cardinals a couple times as a guest.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm going to show my bias here. I thought Dan McLaughlin, when he was the TV guy for the Cardinals, was one of the best in the biz in terms of regional broadcast. Obviously, why he can't pay for an Uber is beyond me. Like, don't drive drunk. You're wealthy enough to pay an Uber, and then I would not have to listen to Chip Carey.
There you go.
And no one wants to listen to a Carey. Ever.
I don't.
Oh. Miss you, Vin Scully.
Yes.
Nobody called a baseball game better than Bob Costas. Nobody. Especially a regular season game that didn't matter. You want Bob Costas on that call.
I'll take your word for it. I will take your word for it.
Now, is it a World Series game? Maybe give me Jack Buck. Maybe give me Vin Scully. But a regular game, a Wednesday night game, give me Bob Costas. And Al Michaels on Monday Night Baseball that was good. With Joe Garagiola.
Boom.
Paul, going back, you're like a couple years older than I am. Who are the ones that stand out to you? I don't really remember Mel Allen.
Oh, no. On radio, Vin Scully and Ernie Harwell.
Tiger's great.
Mel Allen, it was great, but by the time I listened to him, he was past his prime. He became Phil Rizzuto-ish, I think.
The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.